In the newest couple of chapters that have been released, Yuji has displayed a tremendous show of power and strength, a result due to an awakening similar to Gojo. This occurred after launching a very powerful Black Flash against Sukuna and sending him flying. Yuji has now entered the zone, and at the same time, he has gained some new abilities. Many of the theories that I've been speaking about on this channel and speculating on have been mentioned and have been revealed within these chapters. And Yuji has become the center of attention within these chapters. Why is this though? This is because Yuji, he has displayed his understanding of how to use reversed curse technique, blood manipulation, simple domain, and even a mastery of Black Flash. Like damn, what else can you learn? But there is more to this than meets the eye, as undertaking this change evolved during the 1 month of training before the fight. It was a crucial time in character development period for the character of Itadori Yuji. These new chapters also confirmed a lot of our prior suspicions about what we predicted was a reality of these characters within the storyline. For example, the current state of nature of Megumi and his mindset. Watch my video that goes more into depth about these suspicions and why they are relevant about the true nature of Megumi Fushiguro. Back to how Yuji learned how to use reverse curse technique, even though this shouldn't be even possible, as only a handful of characters can heal themselves through reverse curse technique throughout the show, and especially since he only had about a month to learn it. It looks like all the odds were stacked against his favor, but he did end up managing to learn it and use it against Sukuna within his fight against him. And this is really ironic because Sukuna is one of the two things that really helped Yuji learn reverse curse technique and allowed him to learn it. This is because, as mentioned by Kusakabe, Sukuna, as we already know, has used Yuji's body as a medium to fight through, resulting in the development of muscle memory, which explains why Yuji gains strength at an exceptional rate compared to the others. This means that for Yuji to learn a special grade technique such as reverse curse technique is 10 times easier, since his body is already used to this technique to some degree thanks to Sukuna. Not only is this the only reason why Yuji is able to achieve such feats, but because there is much more to his character that gets exposed within these chapters. For example, Sukuna reveals that Yuji was actually meant to be his brother. He was meant to have a twin, which he ended up rejecting, and decided that he'd consume a fragment of himself on the brink of starvation, aka Yuji. Yuji's soul then went on bouncing around until it fell into the hands of Kenjaku, bringing about the birth of Yuji Itadori. Like I mentioned, Sukuna was only a piece of the puzzle of Yuji learning reverse curse technique. The cursed womb death paintings act as the second factor. This is because Yuji ends up ingesting the other 4 to 9 death womb paintings that were left behind in the cursed warehouse past Tengen's barrier, resulting in Yuji becoming engraved with blood manipulation, which is an inherited technique passed down in the Kamo family. The details of this technique are that blood can be manipulated in a variety of ways utilizing this technique. External blood can be hardened or shaped to create mid-range projectiles, which is shown when Yuji attacks Sukuna with piercing blood. Internal blood can be used to control one's own pulse rate and body temperature, effectively giving themselves more energy to increase their physical capabilities. Kusakabe explains this to Yuji that he can master the basics of stitching and stopping blood down. As for why and how Yuji is able to use Simple Domain now and Black Flash almost at will, this is explained as due to Yuji participating in switch training with Kusakabe, the ability to swap bodies via the soul thanks to the ability of Yui Yui, which allows an individual to swap souls twice per one person within a single month. This is why Yuji was shown in the body of Kusakabe and vice versa in chapter 222, when everyone thought that this was because Yuji for some reason had the ability to swap souls, which is false. Okay, so we understand that Yuji is able to use reverse curse technique thanks to him ingesting the remaining 4 to 9 cursed death womb paintings, solidifying this technique and a simple anti-barrier technique through the training with him and Kusakabe, who possesses some of the strongest anti-domain barrier capabilities in the story, which is how Yuji is able to use new shadow style in his battle against Sukuna. And going back to the mention of an individual being able to swap souls twice within a single month, many people began to speculate that the other person that Yuji has done training with is none other than Gojo Satoru. This would make sense as Gojo's mastery over reverse curse technique is powerful enough to rival even Hikari during his jackpot, allowing Yuji a mastery of some degree over reverse curse technique. But I don't fully agree with this theory because Yuji or even Chozo on his deathbed would have mentioned something about this, but instead it was brushed aside as something that was only natural, thanks to Sukuna. Some people speculate even so far to say that Yuji may be able to use Limitless as a result of switch training with Gojo, which doesn't add up because Yuta mentioned he himself wouldn't even be able to use Limitless through his copy technique because Limitless requires the 6 eyes, which is a physical attribute, not a technique. Unless, like what has happened in this latest chapter, as a last resort, Yuta can use Gojo's corpse by Rika eating Kenjaku and copying his body hopping ability, then he can use the Limitless. All of this to say that Yuji has experienced an awakening thanks to his ideals, training, and being the host of Sukuna for a long period of time. If this is the case that Yuji has experienced such a tremendous growth and power just by being the vessel of Sukuna for a while, then it would be safe to speculate and theorize that if Megumi is able to be saved from Sukuna in the aftermath following the battle, then it would be fair to assume that Megumi would also, like Yuji, experience some growth in power and abilities, probably not to a greater degree than Yuji, as Yuji has experienced Sukuna's abilities for a longer period of time, but Sukuna is going all out with his techniques and his attacks in his battle against Gojo and his battle against Yuta and all of the others, which does add up to make sense why, if Megumi comes out of this alive, that he would have some kind of trauma induced onto his body, which may give him the potential of becoming a stronger character in the show. Let me know what you think about these latest chapters and what you think is next for Yuji, so I could gain a better understanding of your perspective. Other than that, I'll see you in the next video, and I appreciate you watching all the way this far into the video if you are still watching.